We had 774 on all day. The first warning that came on 774 for our area was 2 hours after my house burnt down. It was a beautiful home in a lovely setting. I mean, there was 250 square metres of decking around the home, all ironbark. It was a house in a forest. At about 2 p.m, I looked out the window and saw the clouds that had gathered were turning a certain tinge of yellow, and I thought, oh, that could be smoke, not cloud. Decided to nick home and just do a quick check of what's going on, and it was whilst on the roof the wind changed and the flames from Yarra Glen moved from Yarra Glen to here in, I believe, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. It was more than 100 kilometres an hour, faster. The winds were blowing 100 and the fire was jumping ahead of the wind because of seeking cheap fuel, and it was whilst on the roof that you could just smell bushfire, and all of a sudden I could not see my driveway anymore from the smoke coming in, and it became a non-discussion. It was like, babe, get in the car, we're leaving. We lost everything. The house obliterated, all assets on the land basically obliterated. This was where my house was, and all that's left is the slab. This was the front door. We had 2 double doors here, in fact. And yeah, it looks significantly different. The first thing that hits you, you're actually more rational at the beginning of this than you are a month in. And the first thing I'm thinking about is, right, insurance, right, you know, replacing this, and you really, you know, go, because the fight or flight thing really sparks your senses. The ensuing couple of months that came afterwards were distressing. The intangible loss that, you know, you had a house, you had a place to go, you had a roof over your head, you had a toilet and a shower, those basic things that all of a sudden when it's raining and you need to go and all you've got's a shovel, really hit home. Getting into the process then of doing the paperwork, registering with all the various government agencies, the DHS, the GrowCon to do the cleanup, you know, your insurance company, and the sense of not knowing what to do and when to do it was absolutely overwhelming. And at the same time, you're trying to keep yourself together and go to work every day and still earn a living, because more than ever you're like, oh, I need every penny. And yet when you're at work, you're really here anyway, so you might as well just like take time off and come up here and try and get yourself sorted. The caravan up the top of our property was loaned to us from a neighbour at the end of the street, and it was part of that grey army of charity that came out after the bushfires, with so many people digging deep into their personal possessions to say, hey, I don't need that blanket, I don't need that kettle. Well, in our case, a neighbour's mum didn't need the old caravan, and we've used it for the last 5 months until we've put up a temporary accommodation in the form of a shed. We've been dry and very thankful to have it, and it's been a wondrous thing. Stay or go. Right up until the day of the fire, I had always sworn black and blue that I would stay. There was no way I was going to leave my beautiful home to the ravages of a bushfire. I was gonna stay, and I was gonna fight it, and I was gonna save it, and I was gonna keep my beautiful home forever, because it was my beautiful home. Until I smelt bushfire and I couldn't see my driveway, and it was like, we're leaving. And that was before the fire front hit us. And we're very lucky that we left when we did. Whilst driving through some flames, we managed within the 15-minute window to avoid being trapped in here and to have to endure some seriously ugly time. It's not an easy obstacle to overcome. The sense of loss, the sense of time loss that has ensued since the fire. You know, what are we today? Start of August. Since the 7th of Feb, I've probably missed 25% of my working life here trying to, get the site safe, clear the fallen trees. The intangible loss, which is mainly time as well as the emotional drag, I think is the biggest expense of the whole thing. If I click my fingers and have my house back, what I would have gained is not losing the last 6 months, 5 months of worrying and working on just trying to get back to dough, just get back to where I was, not get ahead,